Imagine waking up one morning, stepping out onto the cobbled streets of your hometown, and seeing a woman dancing. Not joyfully, not for music, not for performance. She's dancing as if her life depends on it. Her face twisted in agony, her arms jerking violently, her feet raw and bloodied, but she cannot stop. Now imagine that within days, hundreds more join her. Men, women, even children, all dancing, all unable to stop, collapsing from exhaustion, some dying from strokes and heart attacks, all because their bodies won't stop moving. It sounds impossible, something out of a horror film. But this was real. This is the bizarre, chilling true story of the dancing plague of 1518, when a peaceful medieval town in France turned into a living nightmare. A story of mass hysteria, religious terror, bad science, and the terrifying power of belief. So, settle in, because what you're about to hear may just be the strangest epidemic in human history. Let's begin. The year was 1518. The place, Strasbourg, a bustling city in the Holy Roman Empire, nestled in what we now call modern-day France. On the surface, it looked like your typical late medieval town. Timber-framed houses, narrow winding streets, and a cathedral so tall it seemed to scrape the sky. But beneath that postcard image, Strasbourg was boiling. Famine had swept the region the year before. Crops failed. The Rhine River flooded, destroying grain reserves. People were starving. Bread prices soared. Then came disease, waves of plague and syphilis. Corpses were piling up faster than priests could bury them. Politically, the Holy Roman Empire was crumbling. Religious tension was mounting. Martin Luther was about to light a fire that would consume Europe with his 95 Theses. The people of Strasbourg were terrified, broke, sick, hungry, and perhaps most dangerously, deeply superstitious. Every thunderstorm was seen as punishment from God, every illness a sign of Satan's influence. And into this pressure cooker walked one woman. It started with one. Her name was Frau Trophäa. We don't know much about her. No birth record, no portrait, no family history. But on a hot July morning in 1518, in the heart of Strasbourg, she walked out into the street and began to dance. She didn't smile. She didn't laugh. There was no music. She just moved. Arms flailing, legs twitching, her body jerking wildly as if yanked by invisible strings. Her neighbors stared, unsure whether to laugh or call for a priest. But Frau Trophäa didn't stop. Hours passed. Then an entire day. Then 2. By day 3, her feet were bleeding, her face pale and sunken. But still she danced. People began to whisper. Was she possessed? Cursed? Punished by God? Whatever it was spreading. By the end of the week, more than 30 people had joined her. And just like that, the dancing plague had begun. Now, this wasn't the first time Europeans had seen bizarre outbreaks of dancing. There had been similar cases in the 14th century. Groups of people convulsing in the streets, foaming at the mouth, claiming they couldn't stop moving. But Strasbourg? This was different. By week 2, the dancers numbered in the hundreds. People were collapsing in the streets, foaming at the mouth. Some danced until they broke bones, others until they died. And the city's leaders? They panicked. Back then, medicine was a dangerous cocktail of superstition, astrology, and outdated Greek theories. The doctors of Strasbourg believed this was no possession. It was a physical illness. Specifically, an overheated brain. Too much blood. A condition they called hot blood. Their solution? Let them dance it out. Seriously. The city constructed a massive wooden stage in the marketplace, hired musicians to play day and night, even brought in professional dancers to encourage the crowd. Yes, in the middle of a deadly dancing plague, their medical advice was, "Let's throw a dance party." And that's when things really got out of hand. The square echoed with drum beats. The sounds of flutes, fiddles, and pipes filled the air as the dancers spun wildly under the scorching sun. People were collapsing mid-step, eyes wide, mouths screaming, but their legs kept moving. Witnesses reported men dying of heart attacks, women miscarrying from sheer exhaustion, children sobbing beside parents who wouldn't or couldn't stop. One merchant described the scene as a vision of hell. It was no longer just strange, it was terrifying. And the people began to turn on each other. Religious extremists claimed the dancers were being punished by Saint Vitus, the patron saint of dance and epilepsy. Others blamed witches. Some believed the devil himself had come to Strasbourg. Priests organized public exorcisms. Pilgrims poured into the city. Relics were brought out from the cathedral. But none of it worked, because every day, more people joined in, and no one could explain why. The numbers were staggering. At its peak, 400 people were dancing uncontrollably in the streets. And the death toll? Some say dozens died. Others claim over 100 perished from exhaustion, strokes, and heart failure. And remember, these weren't raves. There was no celebration, no joy, just raw, horrific movement. A living nightmare. Eventually, reality hit Strasbourg's city council like a ton of bricks. Their dance-it-out method wasn't helping. It was killing people. So they shut it all down. The stage was torn down. Musicians were sent home. Dancing was banned by law. And the remaining dancers? They were gathered up, some screaming, some limp with fatigue, and sent on a pilgrimage to a shrine dedicated to, you guessed it, Saint Vitus. There, in the shadow of a church, priests prayed over them, sprinkled them with holy water, forced them into isolation. And slowly, the dancing began to stop. Within weeks, the dancers returned to normal, their bodies broken, their minds shattered. But what caused it? Modern scientists have theories. Some suggest ergot poisoning, a toxic mold found in rye that can cause hallucinations and spasms. It's the same chemical that inspired LSD, but that theory has holes. Ergot doesn't spread person to person, and it usually causes seizures, not rhythmic dancing. Others believe it was mass psychogenic illness, what we used to call mass hysteria. In other words, stress, trauma, and belief created a contagious physical reaction. And given the state of Strasbourg, famine, plague, religious fear, it's plausible. The human mind under stress can do unimaginable things. People saw one woman dance and believed it could happen to them. So it did. Like a virus of the soul. Eventually, the plague ended. The dancers stopped. The city moved on. But the dancing plague of 1518 remains one of the most haunting, unsolved medical mysteries in history. A moment where the boundary between body and mind shattered, where belief and biology collided, and where an entire city danced its way to death. We often think of plagues as bacteria, as viruses, as tiny organisms that tear us apart. But sometimes, the real contagion is fear. And that's a dance we still haven't stopped. If you made it this far, thank you for taking this journey into one of the strangest events in human history. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell if you want more haunting stories like this one. And drop a comment. What do you think caused the dancing plague? Until next time, stay curious, and don't stop asking the hard questions, especially when history tries to dance around the truth.